The rumors for Tormenta Rampaging Run began in late 2024. Rumors spiked at Six Flags Over Texas after La Vibora was removed and signs of construction started popping up towards the front of the park. The hype peaked during a tease at the FT92 event in August 2025, but the coaster would not be officially named or announced until September 25th, 2025. Just as construction went vertical. Driven by the massive social media buzz, I knew that I had to be there for opening day. This is Coaster Curt's commentary. I am Coaster Curt, and here's my experience from Tormenta Rampaging Run's opening day. First, I started my day with this view out of my hotel window, and there's a couple of things I want to point out with this view. Number one, Six Flags Over Texas is now only one of 2 parks in the United States that has 4 attractions over the height of 300 feet. Just to the right of the frame, you have the Texas Skyscreamer, then you have Superman Tower of Power, the Oil Derrick, and we just added Tormenta Rampaging Run. And I know this angle favors Tormenta, but if we zoom in just a little bit, you can see that the Texas Giant is right back there, and behind Tormenta is Titan. Titan stands at 245 feet tall. From this angle, it just looks like Tormenta is dwarfing anything else in the park. After taking in that view, I had to get my day started for a Texas-sized adventure with a Texas-shaped waffle. My hotel had these fun Texas-shaped waffles as part of their breakfast, so of course I had to have one. One of the first things I did after eating breakfast was post on Facebook in the Six Flags Over Texas Junkies Facebook group to see what everyone's plan for Tormenta was and to see how early I needed to get there. And shout out to Mr. Corey Juergens for telling me that the line was already out to the road. But when I got there, I think there was about 32 cars in line, so it wasn't all that bad. And I got there around 9:30, 9:15 in the morning. And this roller coaster is greeting everyone as they pull up to the park. It is a gigantic landmark that attracts you to this park. The gates to the parking lot opened right at 10 o'clock like they always do, and with my Prestige Preferred Parking Pass, I got a spot up close and gathered all my items and made my way to the front admission gate before security, along with hundreds of other people. And as we're standing there waiting for security to open the gates, Tormenta starts doing some testing, and we even see some of the park employees catch a ride before the park opens. I'm going to play this clip one more time with audio so that you get a better sense of what exactly is greeting you as you're waiting for the front gates to open. The noise that this roller coaster makes and watching it run and it towering over you in the crowd waiting to get into the park is something that excites something in your brain when you're a roller coaster enthusiast like me. This next clip is going to be live commentary of me walking up to Tormenta for the first time, and there's a couple of things that I point out here. Like, there was no real rope drop, and the park was just open. As soon as they opened up the security gates, we were able to walk straight back to Tormenta. There was almost no rope drop.
Okay, we're all going the same.
Usually the rope drop is way back by Six Flags Mercado. Today, we're getting to walk in all the way to Tormenta. Look at the fountains. They're so pretty. Let's see. 10:35. We're in line.
Guys, I don't want to anymore. I'm going to pick up.
Looks like fast lane may not be open right now. Will y'all be open in fast lane later today?
I do not.
Okay. There's one thing about me. For a rope drop, I will walk briskly, but I will not run through the park.
I like that at least put
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna estimate maybe an hour, maybe a little bit less. But I know today this line will be out that red entrance over there. So here we go. I walked through about 4 switchbacks and the line finally stopped moving forward right at the garden section, right in the middle of the queue line. Excellent view of Tormenta. Let's see how long it takes. Well, it looks like they just let the first riders up into the station. It is 10:40, so about 20 minutes earlier than expected. I think we're about to see our first public riders on Tormenta. I was pleasantly surprised that we were able to walk directly into the Tormenta queue line as soon as the security gates opened, and as you can tell, everyone else was excited to be there, even if it was shaping up to be a very hot day. I will say though that Six Flags did an excellent job of providing fans with misters and shade, and even had some water stations in the queue line. You can definitely tell that a lot of careful planning went into not only the ride, but a lot of the elements around the ride. This queue line is positioned underneath about half of the ride, giving you a lot of excellent views, building anticipation for what you're about to experience, which has been part of the marketing strategy for this ride the entire time, including the hashtag #DropTheGate. I know there were media and preview days, but on official opening day, the first train on Tormenta Rampaging Run left the station at 10:45 a.m., 15 minutes before the park's listed official opening time. We had an excellent view of almost the entire ride from the queue line, and it would not be long before I got to experience it myself. Well, it is 11 o'clock on the dot, and I'm about to put my stuff in the locker for Tormenta. What was that, 35 minutes? A little shorter than I thought, but here we go. I'm gonna put you away for a little while, and I'll catch you on the backside of the road. I've included this Six Flags Over Texas official POV of Tormenta Rampaging Run so that we can kind of walk ourselves through the different elements and ride experience. Coming out of the gate, you kind of swoop to the left just a little bit, and then you are staring at this huge lift hill. It's a 309-foot tall lift hill, and it's a little bit loud, but it is one of the quicker lift hills. I think the lift hill chain moves about the same speed as Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger or Fury 325. It gets you up there pretty quick. Then once you are at the top, you have a pretty good view of Arlington. And if you look to your right in the distance, you can see some of the tall buildings in downtown Dallas. Then you move out to the edge of this drop, and you are staring straight down for 3 seconds. Then you go over the edge down this 95-degree, 285-foot drop directly into a 219-foot Immelman inversion, immediately into the world's tallest vertical loop at 179 feet. And that's just the beginning. You go right back up and do a little pigtail twist inversion into the mid-course brake run. Now, this mid-course brake run is slightly taller than New Texas Giant. It's going to hold you at the end of the brake run for a second, and then you're going down another nearly vertical drop. You're going to do a little twist and corkscrew for the fourth inversion there, and then you're going to come up and do another inversion over to your left, and finally swoop down and back up to the right and into the final brake run. It is 11:11, and I just got my stuff from the locker. We're going to see if we can get some more footage. Tormenta was great. After my first ride, I got some of this footage by the exit to Tormenta, and I reserved my fast lane. So I have the season-long Ultimate Fast Lane. You can only use that one time on Tormenta, at least on opening day. I'm not sure what they're doing now. My plan was get in line as soon as possible, as soon as the park opens, wait as short as possible for my first ride, and then use my fast lane to ride it again, then come back later in the day to after the lines have died down to ride it a few more times. I think my plan just worked. Got here super early, waited about 35 minutes for my first ride in the standard line, and then as soon as I got off, I was able to reserve a fast lane, and now I'm walking all the way to the front of the line with my ultimate fast lane. Now, I only get to use this ultimate fast lane once on Tormenta today, and I'm gonna stick it out for the front row. The first ride I got was in the back row, but I'm gonna force my way into the front, whatever it takes. It's a hot one out here, but it is 11:48, and I've already ridden Tormenta 3 times. It's a really fun roller coaster. I've got a video of the line right now out the Spain section, and I'll post that here in a second, but wow, it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun ride. First ride, I got back row, middle seat. Second ride was front row, middle seat. And my third ride was middle row, far left seat. It was great. There's a tiny little rattle in it, which wasn't that bad. Well, now that I cooled down a little bit at Casa de las Banderas, I'm gonna go around to the rest of the park and lap all the rides that don't have a line. I think I might be able to still use my Prestige skip the line. Maybe, maybe not, but I think I'm gonna save that for later today. See if I can get one more ride on Tormenta later, probably towards the end of the day, but that was a lot of fun. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of the park. That's right, by 11:48 a.m., I had ridden Tormenta Rampaging Run 3 times. I did once for 25 minutes in the general line. The second time I used my ultimate fast lane, and they didn't scan it, so I used it one more time, and they actually scanned it. This is the line after I got done riding my third ride, and it stretched all the way back to the sombrero. I spent the rest of my day running around the rest of the park, and nothing else had a line, and with my ultimate fast lane, I was able to pretty much walk on to every other ride. I'm going to go ahead and do my Tormenta Rampaging Run coaster rating right now. I've done all of my coasters for 2025, and I have yet to do my roller coasters for 2026. I started them, and then I have a lot to do, but I have not done almost any of them yet. So we're going to do Tormenta. And if you haven't seen my other coaster ratings videos yet, I'll give you a brief rundown real quick. I rate coasters on 10 different metrics and average those 10 metrics together to give them an overall score on a scale of 0 to 10. The metrics that I use are going to be intensity, pacing, operations, smoothness, layout, sense of speed, restraints, theming, airtime, and significance. So let's go ahead and start out with intensity. I think Tormenta, it's huge, it's big, it breaks a bunch of world records, but I don't think it really gets a 10 for intensity. It is very intense though, so I'm gonna give it a 9 for intensity. It doesn't have like a whole lot of crazy, super intense moments. So I think a 9 is a fair rating. Pacing, I like this pacing. First 2 elements are so big and they take so long that it feels like this one element is taking forever to get through that 219-foot Immelman inversion. And then you have that mid-course brake run that kind of just gives you a brief little pause in the middle of the ride. I think it's really good pacing. I'm not really sure it's a 10 though, but I think it is really good. So again, I think I'm going with a 9. Operations. They were getting people on and off the train very quickly. They were dispatching, I think, as fast as they possibly could. They were running 3 trains, which is great. I personally never had to wait longer than about 40 minutes. While I was in the line, I'm pretty sure somebody got sick on one of the trains and they had to pause and clean it all up. Between the announcement of, hey, we're gonna stop for a minute for a cleanup issue, to, all right, we're back up, was about 6 minutes, which is really quick. For operations, the only thing I'm taking a point off of operations for is that since they were running 3 trains and the ride time is a little bit shorter, there was some stacking trains on the final brake run. You know what? I think even if the dispatch times were a little bit longer, the attitude and the smiling faces of the operators themselves on opening day is going to boost them up to a 10. So we're going to give them a 10 for operations. Smoothness. This is not a perfect 10. It is not super glassy smooth. I think it is very smooth, and I think it matters what row you sit in, also what side of the train you're sitting in. If you're sitting in the middle, it might be a little bit rougher, or if you're sitting on the edges, it might be a little bit smoother. I personally got a couple of different spots. I rode in each row. The back rows were a little bit rougher. There was a rattle, there was a shake, but it wasn't terrible. I'm gonna give it an 8 for smoothness. Layout, I can't give, I don't know. I was gonna say I can't give anything except a 10 because it breaks so many world records. And yeah, actually, I am gonna give it a 10. The only thing I wish it would be is just a little bit longer. I know it's the longest dive coaster in the world. I guess it just goes so fast through that layout that it feels kind of short. The sense of speed, it does go 87 miles an hour, but you are like sitting and very strapped into those seats, so you lose a little bit of that sense of speed, and you have to be strapped in that securely with that big vest restraint. You can't just have a belt around your waist and go through a 219-foot Immelman. I want to give it a 9, but it really feels like an 8. I'm not... yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 for sense of speed. You are going 87 miles an hour, but it doesn't really feel that super fast. I will say you get a better sense of speed if you do sit on an edge seat. If you're sitting on a middle seat, you're not as wide open and free and feel like you're flying as much as you are if you're sitting on the edge seat. So 8 for sense of speed. Restraints. I personally like these restraints. Even if they take away from the sense of speed just a little bit, I really do like these restraints. It's a soft foam vest restraint with the bars that kind of come out around your head and they buckle in between your legs, and the seats are really comfortable. I'm going to give these restraints a 10. Theming. There is a ton of new theming all around Tormenta, and it fits really well with the Spain section of Six Flags Over Texas. I hope that at some point they have the on-ride audio. When I rode it on opening day, the speakers up the lift hill and on the mid-course brake run, they were just chanting Tormenta, Tormenta, Tormenta. And that's cool. It gets everybody hyped. but I want more story. I want more theming. I want more music and elements and stuff like that. Excellent job on the paint, on the area, the landscaping, the gigantic bronze bull statue outside the front of the ride. I'm gonna give it a 9 for theming. It's not on a Disney level, and it's not quite to the level of theming of Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. I think 9 for theming on Tormenta is pretty solid. Airtime. This is not a roller coaster built for airtime. There are some moments of airtime, but it is not an airtime machine. I'm gonna give it like a 6 for airtime. Significance. I think this roller coaster is exactly what this park needed. It is in celebration of Six Flags Over Texas' 65th anniversary, and with it breaking 6 world records, and like I think technically 7, but the 7th one is kind of semantics. I think I'm gonna give it a 10 for significance. So that gives Tormenta an overall rating of 8.9 on my roller coaster rating scale. So where does that put it with my 2025 ratings? Tormenta. Wow. It is my number 10 favorite coaster. Yeah, that feels good. That feels right. I guess number 10, it's tied for 8th. That's number 1. This is number 1. Fury is number 1 for sure. So, tied for 8th place. Technically number 10 in my ratings. Wow, I didn't expect it to be that high. But, again, I have not rated all of the coasters that I have ridden in 2026 yet. So, those will be coming soon. I'll be getting those ratings out, hopefully, faster rather than later. But yeah, Tormenta Rampaging Run, 8.9 out of 10. Overall, I think Tormenta Rampaging Run is an excellent addition to Six Flags Over Texas. I think the execution of opening day was really well done. The theming is great. The heat accommodations in the queue line were a nice addition. Getting into the park and riding the ride before official opening time was a pleasant surprise. And I had a really good day in the rest of the park. Towards the end of the day, I was able to get in 2 more rides on Tormenta before park closing, and I never waited longer than 40 minutes. Do I think this is an elite game-changing roller coaster? No, not really, but I do think it is very good, and I'm glad it is in my home state, only a 3-hour drive away from home, and I will definitely be riding it every single time I visit Six Flags Over Texas. As always, thank you for watching Coaster Curt's commentary, and don't forget to enjoy the ride.